What's up, nation? Testing. Let me know if you guys can hear me because I got the beats on, so I can only hear myself. Thumbs up. All right. Let's see. Mic testing. Cloud chasing. There you go. Heavy hustler. He watch me every time. Cloud chasing. Testing. Testing. Okay, I can see some movement. All right. Here we go. All right. What's up, nation? I'm glad to be back with y'all. Just got finished watching my day's worth of preseason football, man, and I enjoyed the night. From all the games that I watched. I watched the Giants and the Browns game as well. So I did enjoy that. But we ain't here to talk about that. I know a lot of y'all are a little upset about the fact that we lost it at the end there. But I just want to remind everybody that it's preseason, so it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And when I say it doesn't matter, I don't mean that that momentum won't carry, but it wasn't the first or second unit that really was the difference in this game when it came to losing it. We already know it was a time when it was third stringers, fourth stringers, people trying to make the team, lack of communication. People just barely missing plays and panicking at certain times. But there was a lot that went on. So I'll be looking in the notes too. You guys let me know what you guys wanna discuss. But I'm just gonna go through the things that I wrote down in my notes, and starting with Lance Lenoir, man. Lance Lenoir, I think, is one of our better wide receivers on the team, man. And I say that not because he lit it up today. He didn't. But just how natural he was out there, both with the touchdown reception was great with his toe tap. That was in the route that he ran in short space. That was just crazy to me. I love that. I love that. And then he also had a hitch route on a bubble screen, a bubble screen or a hitch route, something like that, where he caught the ball. He just pounded the ball one hand. It wasn't, a bullet pass or anything like that, but just the way he handled it was just smooth. So I like Lance Lenoir. I've been liking him all through camp. I liked him last year. And the key difference this year or in this game was his special teams ability. He actually fielded the ball well, and not just fielded the ball with, 20 yards worth of cushion. He had, he had no cushion. He was fielding the ball with people bearing down on him. That's pretty hard to do. So, I like that. I like that a lot. I see I made this track. Lewis got me worried a little bit. I think Lewis is going to be fine. He's actually the next person I want to talk about too. But I think Lewis is going to be fine. I think what happened with Jordan Lewis is on that play, I think he really thought he had help, number one, inside, and he didn't. And two, he bit on that first move hard. So he looked in the backfield and he lost the receiver. I know, that happened to him last year as well, because he's a ball hawk. And when you have a ball hawk, they tend to bite on double moves. That's not an uncommon thing. And I'm not making excuses for him, because he does need to play better than he did in that stretch. But if you remember the Arizona game earlier this year, he did the same thing. He not earlier this year, but last year, he did the same thing against Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looked inside hard on a post pattern, and then cut to the corner, but he missed. Carson Palmer missed him, so he didn't have to pay for that. But he has showed that he definitely will bite on those double moves. That's partially him, and partially your front four needs to get there as well, because you shouldn't have time to run deep post flags if your front four is doing what they're supposed to do. So, but that's not to take anything away from those guys, man. They actually played well today, man. Oh yeah, you already know. Michael Gallup. I see somebody throwing Michael Gallup in the chat box. Michael Gallup did his thing, and so did Dak. The difference between practice and a live game is night and day. I already expected that Dak would come out swinging because of all of the media uproar that he's been getting for not throwing touchdowns and so on. So, Dak being out there running the ball is the difference. He can't run the ball in practice. He's not going to. They don't want to waste him that way. So him getting out there and running the ball was huge to me, because that's how he extends these drives. But also the pass that he threw to Gallup, that was that was Dak 2016-esque, meaning, it was a nice deep ball, and he kind of threaded it in between a safety and a corner. The corner did kind of Ward. He did get caught, sort of like Lewis, looking in the backfield too early. That was his fault. Gallup did hold his eyes long enough, and that was good. That Gallup didn't turn until the very last minute. He gave him a little fake, and then he just shot to the pylon, and it was just over from there, man. So I never really speak about Gallup, just like I don't speak about DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't speak too much about Sean Lee. Why? Because and he kind of snuck up on me. But when I see a player that I think can ball, or that already has the intangibles that I like, I tend not to talk about them too much. And maybe that's a bad thing. We need to celebrate our players that are actually balling out too. But I tend not to talk about those guys too much, just for the fact that I already know that what they can do. So, and I feel like everyone who watches, those are people who show up without you having to look for them. So, and I like to do breakdowns. I like to find underdogs, people who people probably don't pay attention to. So that's probably why I haven't really looked at Gallup too deep. But yeah, man, just the way this game kind of progressed, it was good. It was fiery from the beginning. The D line, man, hot boys, man, that's what they call themselves. I actually am doing a video for Antoine Woods. Probably release it tomorrow. I'm traveling tomorrow, but if I have some time on the plane, I'll finish it up, and then when I land and get to some Wi-Fi, I'll throw that out there for y'all. But yeah, that front four was chaotic, man. Everything that we thought Woods was going to do, he did. He was penetrating. Both he, Price, Dayton Jones. Shout out to Dayton Jones too, man. He actually replied to his video that I did for him on YouTube. So I appreciate you on Twitter actually, but I appreciate him showing love to the video, to the work. He actually respected that. Law, myself, and Voch, we invited him out to the Tuesday live show. Shout out to Law and Voch too. But we invited him out. I know he was playing a game today, so he didn't have time to really respond to that. But we definitely reached out to him today, and he actually followed back on Twitter. So we'll be communicating. But again, shout out to him. He balled out as well. Like those guys were getting upfield, causing havoc, wreaking havoc all over the place, stopping the run, most importantly, making the 49ers one-dimensional. And it didn't even look like we were playing a college team up front. That's how bad it was when it came to us just collapsing the line. Now we didn't get there on every play, but that they were as disruptive as I wanted them to be. My guy Joe Thomas was right where he needed to be for that pick as well. I know Duke Thomas got one later on off of a deflection, but you guys can see this defense it's just different. The energy's different. Everybody's flying to the ball. The main difference is speed. Like these guys have speed out there. Like there's a lot more speed on the field than in years past. Let me jump into this chat box though. Let me start talking to you guys real quick before I get into the next topic. There we go. Who said rip Law Nation? Why is that? Law Nation's alive, brother. What are you talking about? Oh, are you talking about the strike, man? We gonna work around that. He's gonna be just fine, man. That's not gonna be no issue. There's other live streaming sites out there that he can use, and he always can come on our show. I don't have a problem with that. He can always go on Voch's as well, and he'll be back November 11th. So I know that's a blow. He still will be releasing content, but I know those live streams are going to be a bitch not doing them right now, and we'll figure something out though. We definitely will, because we got a show together every Tuesday, and I want to keep that going, and I can't do it alone. So let's get that, let's figure that out for him. He also has another YouTube channel, so maybe we'll go live from that one, and we'll dual cast that way. But yeah, MVP said what happened to Law. He got a strike for, I'm not sure, I wasn't watching, so I don't know what happened, but I know the NFL manually reviewed something that was going on his page. But I don't want to talk about what's going on with him because that's his business. But at the same time, show some love to Law, and definitely go follow some of the other websites that he uses like Periscope, Facebook, um, also his other YouTube channel, Law Nation 2.0, I think it's called. Follow that one as well because I know he'll be going live from some of those outlets as well. But yeah, there it is. Janiqua Russell. She said Law Nation 2.0. That's what it is. Yeah. But yeah, show him some love, man. Like, I feel bad for that, for sure, because that's my mentor in this game, for real. All right. But yeah, somebody said free my nigga Law. Like he Meek Mills out here, huh? Oh, man, that's crazy. What he says, YouTube will release the strike if you do that. I can't see it, so if y'all see me squinting. Oh yeah, Connor Williams was he said lunging like fat boy getting cake. I don't think he got whooped up too bad. He did get beat in that first sack though. He got beat pretty bad, but it's been happening to him in camp too. Connor Williams is better with his feet than he is with his strength. So he's good at dealing. He's actually best fit for a tackle more so than a guard position right now. And I know he can play guard, but the reason I say he's better at tackle is because he's good at dealing with speed, not power. And usually you find more speed on the outside and power on the inside. And if you have a guy that's fast and strong inside, still doesn't matter. Like a Dayton Jones, he's gonna annihilate Connor Williams right now. But like he will be okay. He definitely will adjust. He will get his strength up, and these are just growing pains. And they have him in between two great players in Fredericks and Tyron Smith, so he'll be fine. I don't think it'll be that long before he gets to midseason form. I see 5,000 watts said Tavon Austin was all over the place. That's true. They moved him around a lot, just as I expected. They threw him the ball. They had jet sweep motions, showing what type of lanes he can open up, because he opened up one lane. I think the second run from Rod Smith was off of a sweep motion, and that it did exactly what we wanted to do, which is divide the defense in two. Half the defense. This is what Tice West Coast right now. He probably want to jump on here. I mean, I'm not sure. I'll tell him to text me. You probably don't know I'm live. But Leighton, he said, Hammer TM said, talk about Leighton. Leighton did what I thought he would do as well. Like he wasn't like blowing up blocks or anything like that, but he was playing great in space. I like the interception that he almost grabbed on the sideline. He was looking like AB, Tony Toe Tap out there. He fell on the ball, kind of knocked the air out of himself, but he showed his range, man. And I know this is not a 49ers page, but him and Reuben Foster showed the same level of coverage skills, because Reuben Foster had a hell of a knockdown or knockaway against Tavon Austin, pass breakup, should I say. And that was impressive. So was Leighton's, though. Leighton's sideline catch look, it was tremendous. It was tremendous. And I was feeling it, actually. So it was a lot of play that I watched today that had me looking at our team like, yo, we're really looking like something, and our defense is scary. That starting defense is scary, and we're deep because remember, Collins and Irving are not here, but we had a rotation of Dayton Jones, Woods, Price. They all were penetrating very well. Even Ward played semi-well. I would give him a B. Connie Ely didn't do too much that I can see. I haven't sat and watched the coach's film yet, and that's the all 22 footage that I use for my breakdown. So I haven't watched that yet. So there's a lot of nuance that I haven't really looked at, but just watching from a fan's perspective, from where we watch, full speed, no rewind, fresh off the TV, it looked good. We'll see some of the different things, like some of the things that were happening on those plays as I break this game down, and I will be breaking it down starting Sunday when I get back into town. I'm actually traveling to San Fran this week, so I won't have time to do too much film breakdown until I come back, and that'll be Sunday-ish, something like that. So yeah, when I get that time, I will sit down and we will look at who was doing what. But just at a glance, man. There's just so many good things happening in this game. It's too many to name. But yeah, Dak definitely showed improved. Bo Scarborough. Um, I need to see how somebody throw in the chat box how big Bo is, man. I don't know how big he is, but he plays like Brandon Jacobs, man. He's like a load to bring down, or like that fullback from Jacksonville, Greg Jones. He played for Florida State a couple years ago. Well, not a couple, a lot of years ago. But yeah, Greg Jones was one of those guys that was like, you get him going straight, he's a problem. He's hard to break down. But you had to get him going side to side. But yeah, I need to know how big he is, how much he weighs, because he's a problem, man. Jalen Smith was out there. Joe Thomas was out there flying. Linebacking core looked great. Damian Wilson. But the linebackers, well, the secret is the linebackers in the secondary will always look great when your front four is penetrating like that. Like they were penetrating to a point where the only time Garoppolo really got a clear look down the field was when they did, some sort of misdirection or some sort of play action motion. Other than that, it was people in his face. Like he wasn't getting sacked all over the place, but we were in there, and that's what I wanted to see. My man Heath does it every time, and I don't think you guys pay attention, man. Heath is a body snatcher, man. Every time he hits something, he hurts it. He hurt, and I'm not celebrating Kittle's getting hurt, but no one really saw it because Kittle got up and got off the field. But Kittle's their tight end, number 85, is hurt. Heath laid his ass out. Someone says Bo Scarborough, 6'1", 235. He plays bigger than that. 6'1", 228. Someone says 6 foot, 225. Yeah, but he plays bigger than that. He doesn't move like a guy that's only 230. And when I say only 230, just realize that Saquon Barkley is the same size, right? But he moves a lot. He's a lot more nimble. Bo Scarborough's like a brick wall, so he plays. He plays big. If you guys watched the Vikings, that had a guy, Mo, I forget his last name. He was number 20 though. He wasn't big at all. He was like 5'9", 200 pounds, but he played big too. He was a running back that they had. Somebody will throw it up there. Not Rod Smith. It was Mo. It doesn't matter. But either way, Bo plays pretty good, man. He did hesitate to go on that goal line stance because he was trying to dance. He needs to realize that's not what he does. I saw some Byron, but again, the secondary didn't really get tested this game, man. They didn't get an opportunity to be tested because there was no time up front for anybody to do anything that could threaten them at all. So the secondary looked good, but I expect them to look good when the front floor plays that great. And that's not going to happen every week. It's not going to happen every quarter. As games go on, they wear down. But we have a good rotation up there though. But when they wear down, you might see some of these guys not playing up to par or not getting to the ball as effectively as they were. But yeah, the D-line, I'm looking at my notes, but the D-line overall was great. Just wanted to go down the list. Price played well. We already know our guy Antoine Woods. We talked about Bo Scarborough already. Going back to Lance Lenoir, I'm going to say this now, right? And y'all might not agree because everybody kind of likes Gallup, and I like Gallup as well. Gallup reminds me of Dez, so how I like Dez, and he reminds me of Dez. So I think Gallup is great, but the best wide receiver on this team, in my opinion, outside of Cole Beasley, who's a niche, nuanced guy, he's like, okay, he has his thing in the slot. The best wide receiver on this team is Lance Lenoir. To me, he might not be the fastest, it might not be the quickest, but overall ability, overall route running ability, overall hands, he just looks like a number one receiver to me. The way he moves, he's like he reminds me a lot of Stephon Diggs and Ocho Cinco, man. He's not a guy he's not super big, he's not super strong, but to me, he's the best wide receiver on this team, hands down, to me. And I think he should get those opportunities to prove that. But all the receivers actually, surprisingly, not like they were playing shutdown corners, but all the receivers played very well, very well. I didn't see one that kind of made me look at them funny. They all played pretty well. Someone screamed Lance Lenore. That's right. Oh, AB, man. AB is, they say AB is the third, is not the third CB. Lewis is. Nothing to lose said that. I think Lewis should be. AB did exactly what AB always does. He practices well, and then he got in the game. And I'm not hating on the brother, no hate at all. But he got in the game and he panics like he always panics. He's always in position, but when the ball is in the air, he doesn't know what to do with himself. I don't know why. That's just the way he is. It's like people. This is a saying that goes around. Like when somebody introduces you to themselves and shows you who they are, believe them. That saying goes for AB. He showed us who he is, and I believe him. I don't know if Noah Brown's cut. Dwayne, I gotta check that out. I didn't see him today though. He didn't touch the field, but I don't know if he's cut. I don't know if he's cut. Oh, he's injured. Okay, he must be injured. Okay, yeah, yep. AB did give up too many plays though. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Yep, future starting receivers, Lance and Michael. Let's see how many y'all guys in here. Let me see some of my folks I need to shout out real quick. I can't really see that. Okay, somebody said let's talk about Antoine Woods, Armstrong, Taco. Taco was playing left end today. When he played, he played pretty well. He was containing and chasing to the perimeter. He didn't get a sack, but he was doing his job. He didn't lose contain once. He played disciplined, good football. Not a world beater today, but played good. I think the hat goes off to the interior linemen today. They played their hearts out, and that's where it was. That's where my attention was. Yeah, that's it for me. But as far as let's see. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when Irvin does come back, and I'm talking to Ethan Rhodes. Ethan Rhodes said when Irvin comes back, is going to be crazy. And when Malik Collins and Irving are back, I don't know what this team's going to look like. And I think you break those guys up. I wouldn't leave them on the field at the same time. And the reason I say that is because that way you have a stronger rotation. If you take a D-Tone or a Woods and put them with Irving as a start in the starting lineup, and then and it doesn't matter because they're playing series by series or play by play, but and you start that rotation, and then the next rotation will be Collins and I said Woods and Irving, and then Collins and D-Tone, or D-Tone and Irving, and that's kind of small in the middle. I'd rather have one of those big one-tech guys up there. So Collins and Irving and D-Tone and Woods or whatever. However you want to do that rotation, but I would still break up Woods and D-Tone, even though they kind of play well together. And think that's part of their communication, and that's part of their skill set. And the reason they're playing well is because they're together. So maybe Rod keeps them together based off of that. But yeah, I don't want you guys taking this loss too hard, because it's just a preseason game, and I'm not one of those guys that say, "Oh, preseason doesn't count." But again, we didn't lose it because our starters or our main players, just didn't play well. Someone said get rid of 79. Yeah, I spoke on LVE Armando. Basically, just to give you a recap on that. I just said he played well. He moved well in space. If you guys didn't see, Kayvon was balling too. I saw somebody mention him. Yeah, let me just go down this line. Cheyenne. Yep, they did target Connor. We talked about that though, but Connor got folded in half a couple times, man. Frazier missed. He whiffed on one tackle on the perimeter. Other than that, Frazier played pretty good. He was where he needed to be, and I like where they had him lining up more so than what he did in the game. And they had him lining up in that Roy Williams sweet spot, which is exactly what I said in the video that we broke down. And I'm going to do a little bit of I told you so, because most of my videos that I dropped, obviously I started this during the offseason. So most of the videos I dropped, we had no way to really know until now whether or not, they were correct, whether it was Byron being a real great corner or a good corner, or Frazier being one of those Cam Chancellor types in Chris Richard's scheme. And that's exactly how they used him. They lined him up 5 to 15 yards off the ball whenever he was out there. He was never out deep. You always saw him in shot, And I kind of kept confusing him for a linebacker because he's a big guy and he was always down in the box, but not in the box, but close enough to the box where he could be effective for both run and pass. So like that's saying something. The last 2 minutes, the real Bishop P. Kane, it doesn't really say too much about coaching because, when you have guys who are undrafted free agents, they're not getting many reps in practice. So you can't really put that all the way on the coaches, and what I'd say is, if you have players like, if the team plays both on the first string and second string the way our team played, and the second string played well. Van Der Esch he's a second stringer today. He didn't start. So, the first and second string played well. That speaks to the coaching right there. I'm not going to put this one on the coaching staff. I don't think they really did anything wrong. I think it was more so the line. Now, what I think they could have done to help Mike White, and you'll see it as the team and the roster gets cut down. A lot of those guys who were starting in the fourth quarter won't be here in 2 weeks, so then he'll be forced to play with, Mike White, that is, will be forced to play with second string linemen because they left Collins out there for Cooper Rush, and they left Connor Williams out there for Cooper Rush. So Cooper Rush had a better line all night. Mike White really didn't. And I think that's more so why we kind of stalled out. We didn't have the same line. So what were we going to do? We were doing 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and it kept going that way because there was no one to stop that. And then also don't forget, turnovers are key too. So I think we had. I'm not sure who turned the ball over though. I don't really remember. I watched it and I was dealing with my daughter, so I don't really remember who turned over. Who said Kyle Kiro? Kyle Kiro didn't really impress me very much. When they moved him to linebacker, I assumed he'd be faster. Number 41. I assumed he'd be faster, man, and he wasn't that fast. He was moving like very flat-footed, and I don't think it might not be because of speed. It might be because of know-how or no understanding what he's doing out there at linebacker, because he was very hesitant, very choppy, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. With short distance, yeah, they do need to be more aggressive. Let's see. No. Who said that? Priest Rodriguez. He said he was on Rambo Sports, and he said we looked weak. No, the Cowboys definitely didn't look weak. If this were a game where we started our starters or our second string for the entire game, it would have been a landslide victory, man. Everybody was out there flying to the ball. 32 did not get robbed. He got robbed on that one pass interference. He did, but when they say like in basketball, the ball never lies. He gave it right back to him the very next play. So and that's Alumba. Alumba played okay. That first pass interference though, that put them in position, really wasn't a pass interference. So you guys are right. And who keeps saying was it 41? Was it 41? What? And who are you asking? Let's see. Let me go back up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the free hit on Beathard. I'm not sure, but I don't think 41 was playing against Beathard, so I don't think that's what it. I don't think that's what it was. But yeah, Anthony Brown. We talked about that. Next week, who do you play next week, you guys? I don't have a schedule open in front of me. Hold on. Gotcha. Oh yeah, Tice was trying to call me after the game. He out there with you guys. He at the game. But let's see. We moved from Romo to Des Witten. Now we should all move the coaching staff except for Chris Richard. I mean, Joe Gomez, those of you calling for the coaching staff's heads right now, you got to leave that be, man, right now. And the reason I say that is because right now we have what we call a perfect storm. I mean, Linehan's not great, but Dak is good enough within that system to win games and put up points. I think we were in the middle of the pack in regards to points scored last year. I think we were 14th. I'm not sure. And that's only because we kind of fizzled out at the last 8 games of the season. But when we have our rushing attack, and it seems like we loaded up for that, we have more running backs than we need. So when you have a rushing attack, that the rushing attack that we have, and you have a defense that's opportunistic, that can force turnovers. Think about Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil with the Chiefs and Dick Vermeil with the Rams never had a big defense. He always had a fast, opportunistic ball hawking defense. And if you can win the turnover battle, it doesn't matter how many points you allow. Even though I don't think we'll allow that many points, but if you win that turnover battle, it's a wrap. Lane the Legend, man, peace out to you, bro. I know it's late. It's 2:30 here, so y'all know I'm dedicated, and my daughter is right in the other room. So if she wakes up, I'm cutting it short. But I just wanted to jump on. This is like the first live show that I've done on my own, and the reason is, I was just excited. I felt like talking, and I know I'm going to hop on a plane tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to get these thoughts out, and I'm not going to have time to make a video, record it, break it down, and send it to you. So I said, let me just jump on and talk to you guys and see what's up. But I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. So if you guys have something you want me to throw out there, feel free and let me know. And I'm taking questions or taking thoughts. I'm going to share y'all thoughts. Y'all share mine. Yeah, someone asked. I guess you didn't see it, but Joe Thomas definitely played all right. He played great. Joe Thomas looked number 48. He looked good out there. He got an interception, and he was moving like a safety out there. So I'm happy with Joe Thomas. But I was always high on Joe Thomas anyway. As I said before, he does more for us than Hitchens could. Hitchens is more like a Jalen Smith. Better coming downhill, better against the run, better playing physical, but not as good in space. Joe Thomas in space is he's like water, man. He's just good. He moves just as good and reads coverages and covers just as good. And this is saying something. Just as good as a Sean Lee. Sean Lee can cover. I think Sean Lee's instincts are a little bit better because of his experience, but Joe Thomas is definitely he's definitely a handcuff for Sean Lee should he get injured like he usually does. We won't have the same problems that we had in the years past because we have a guy out there who can play the same way Sean Lee does. Slide past blocks instead of blowing them up. Gathers didn't get too many opportunities. Someone asked, did he look good? He didn't get too many opportunities, but one thing that is good to see on the Bo Scarborough rushing touchdown, he ran in off of Gather's block. Gather's caved this man into the line, even though it was a second stringer, but he folded that guy in half. So those of you who say that a guy that's 6 foot everything, 6 foot 100 and 290 pounds can't block. I mean, he could figure it out. Eventually he's big enough to he's just as big as Connor Williams. Do you guys understand that? He's like Connor Williams, but lean, or D-Tone Jones, playing tight end, because they're about his size. Connor Williams is 298, and he's anywhere from 280 to 290. So he's a biscuit off of Connor Williams, and he plays tight end and moves like that. People don't really respect that, but Rico Gathers is going to be something for us when we really get him going and get his football IQ up. Let's see. Did I see the TD pass? 6 foot 100. Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. Somebody said Dak Prescott's TD was great, but he can't do it in a real game. This was a real game. The first quarter was a real game. They weren't playing freeze tag. It was a real game. Someone asked again about Jordan Lewis versus Anthony Brown. I say the jury's still out on both of them. Jordan Lewis didn't play well today. He played okay. He didn't stop much, but he didn't give up much either. He gave up one big play to, I think, Pettis. Outside of that, he was mediocre today. And I like Jordan Lewis. He's one of my favorite in his secondary, but he was mediocre today. Um, that's just the truth. But so was Anthony Brown. But if you ask who damaged the team, if we were playing a game, who damaged us today, Anthony Brown. Who looked the worst today? Anthony Brown. They were picking on Anthony Brown from the get-go. He got a lot of tick. If you guys notice, how many times did you see Byron Jones today? You forgot he was on the field. You saw Cheeto, I think, on one play. Other than that, it was a lot of 30 on the screen because they were going after 30. And the fact that you have a team in preseason that's not game planning for you, that still knows that, hey, let's go after 30. I don't even think it was a, hey, let's pick on them. It's that's the open man, or that's where the weakness on that secondary is, and the quarterback even knows that. Tight window. Said that. Yeah, Byron played great because you didn't see him. When you don't see your corners at all, that means they were doing their job. Like Patrick Peterson, you don't see that guy unless you're watching a replay. Why you don't see him? Because whoever he's sticking is not doing shit. So yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be. My thoughts on Byron. That's my thoughts on Byron, man. He's strong, fast, tall, long. DB, and he's punishing guys out there at the line of scrimmage. I love him. Him and Cheeto together is just a great combination. I didn't think Mike White did that bad. Yeah, Mike White didn't do horrible. Like I said, he just had a bad line. He didn't play bad. Near the end of the game, he looked ready, but yeah, his line just didn't do much for him. It didn't do much for him. Connie Ely didn't do much for us. He wasn't very good at all. At all. And yes, Dwayne Brown, to me, Lance Lenore is better than Hearns because of his ability to get in and out of breaks, because of he works on his craft. And if you guys if you're football fanatics like me, I follow Lance Lenore a lot more than I wanted to before I even knew who he was because of David Robinson. He works out with David Robinson. So you'll see a lot of the things that if you want to see what he really is or how he'll be playing. And I'm not saying they're the same guy, but a lot of the same skill sets that Emmanuel Sanders possesses, you'll see in a Lance Lenore. So if you like, he's just a little slower than Emmanuel Sanders, I think. But if you like Emmanuel Sanders, I think you'll love Lance Lenore because they work out with the same coach. They have the similar moves. And their route running is crazy. Lance Lenore's route. Just watch that touchdown. Again, don't watch the catch. The catch is easy. I mean, when I say it's easy, if you just watch the catch, it's easy to get caught up in that and think that, hey, he just threw the ball to him and that's great. But why was he open? Like Lance, he did like a double fake they were at the goal line though. He did a double fake inside and then darted out to the pylon. But the fact that he was that patient in his route, not looking at the quarterback, he had his back to the quarterback. And the fact that he went inside so hard, he doesn't know if the quarterback's getting sacked or what. And that's how disciplined you have to be. You can't keep peeking back because then you're not working your man out. He worked him out and shot to the pylon and caught that. And that was pretty good. I'm just going down a list of things that you guys are saying. Whatever I see, I'm going to talk on. But yeah, Darius Jackson did look nice. But that's why they brought him back in the first place. I'm not sure if he makes the team, but he did look nice. Lance Lenore's downfield speed. I mean, people put too much on speed. They do. Okay, let me give you an example as to why I say that. Des Bryant's never been a burner. Terrence Williams is fast, but just fast enough. He's not a burner either. Then you have guys like D-Hop, like DeAndre Hopkins. He's not a burner. He's a route runner and a possession receiver. But he'll beat you up. He'll get out there, but he's not a burner. He's not a guy that's going to take the top off you either. If you watch a lot of his catches, they're contested. Even AB can run past you, yes. His route running is really what gets him open. He works out with the same folks we were just talking about. David Robinson, shout out to you. D always open. But yeah, like he works out with those guys. But if you watch the Jaguar playoff game, Watch the catches that he was making. He wasn't people who talk about Dez's separation or talks about separation or talk about speed. Watch the game. Antonio Brown was catching passes that were contested. All of them were contested. He was one hand catching it, catching on the side of his head, so on. Why? Because he had to. But he can do that. You know what I mean? So I don't care if Lance Lenore can't take the top off of defense. I don't give a shit. Don't. He'll get his time. He'll get his opportunities, and I think he'll play well. I obviously think that Gallup will play well. Gallup, I don't think he's our deep guy though. I think he's our Dez. He's a fade route guy. He's a slant guy. He's a physical dude, and he's a smaller, smaller and faster Hearns. You know, a guy who has good hands, not great but good, and is physical. But I think you work him on crossing routes, slants. You work him on comeback routes. You work him where you can get him the ball in positions where he can run with it because he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. Lance Lenore is a guy that you throw the ball to. He's like a Chris Carter type guy. You throw the ball to this guy on third down. You throw it to him when you need somebody to get open and make a play because he will. So yeah, I like him. Let's see. Mike White or Cooper Rush right now. Cooper Rush right now. But they drafted Mike White. And people don't pay attention to this. Me and Tice, West Coast Cowboy, we were talking about this earlier. You don't draft a guy like Mike White in the 5th round when you already have a young quarterback if you believe in Dak. I don't think that they're like lost on Dak, but in most cases, when you have a quarterback that's young, like think Cam Newton early, he had Anderson behind him, right? You think about, even Lamar Jackson that they just brought over to Baltimore. If something were to happen to Flacco, they brought in a guy that's just like Jackson in RG3 to kind of show him how to play that style of football. So a veteran presence behind you is important. And Dak's rookie year, he had guys behind him, obviously, but they were really behind Romo. After that, having Cooper Rush back there is already not a liability, but he's not a veteran. He's not a guy that can come in cold and win a game. He hasn't proven that yet. And then behind him, you have a guy like Mike White. So we have 2 rookies backing up Dak Prescott. Now, Dak's durable, knock on wood. We don't want him hurt or anything like that. But I don't know. I think there's a quiet evaluation going on at the quarterback position. And I think they drafted Mike White to take a hard look at him. I don't know if he's going to. I think the reason you put him back there with a shitty line, not like you want him to play bad, but if I don't think they want other teams to get a strong look at him because he probably will wind up being thrown on our practice squad this year because I don't think we carry 3 quarterbacks just because we have so many other competitive positions where we might want to keep some of those guys on. And having 2 rookie quarterbacks backing up Dak doesn't really help us. Or 2, not rookie, but 2 young quarterbacks backing Dak up doesn't help us. So why keep 2? You only need 1 inexperienced guy. It's like, you're going to bring in Cooper Rush or you're going to bring in Mike White. But either way, you're going to have a similar issue, which is, a jittery young quarterback who has arm talent, but, not much experience. They're going to be turning around. They're not very mobile. They're going to be turning around, handing that ball off, and so on. Their Mike White's pocket presence wasn't as good as I would like it to be, but he also didn't have much of a pocket. But he wasn't moving around, sliding, getting away from or feeling the pressure when he was getting sacked. He could have felt a couple of those out, got the ball out a little quicker. It was like he locked in and he was, just concentrating on whoever he was staring down at the time. No, Gallup is a good route runner. He's just not as good as, and this is to Eric Loftman. Yeah, he's a good route runner. He's just not as good as Lenore. Lenore's route running ability is just is crazy. And we have two or three solid route runners. I think Cole Beasley is a great route runner. Tavon Austin is okay, but then you have Lance Lenore and Gallup, who also run routes pretty good. Mikael McKay, he caught, I think, 1 or 2 passes today. He looked pretty good. they missed him a couple times on some deep balls. Excuse me. You know, it's like almost 3 o'clock. That's probably when I cut it off. At 3 o'clock in the morning, man. It's late. I still gotta pack my bags and all that. Haven't packed, but like I said, I wanted to talk to you guys. Oh, No said he missed the game. How did Jalen do? Jalen did great, man. He was caving the line in. He had one play where he stopped the run, and him and Joe Thomas were like fighting for the tackle. I like to see that. They ran each other over to make that tackle. Um, I liked what I saw out of Antoine Woods too, man. Fanatic perspective. I did. Yeah, I did. I love what I saw out of him. Um, let's see what else we want to talk about. Yeah, Anthony Brown will make the team, man. You don't drop him for Travaris Ward or Alumba, or Marquez White actually played better than those guys this time, obviously. But yeah, Marquez White is playing pretty good. He gave up some plays, but he looked good. I think he got beat inside once or twice on some slants, but he looked good. I've seen the best cornerbacks get beat on slants, so yeah, they look good. But yeah, I think Anthony Brown is playing well enough to make the team. Is he playing well enough to be in the starting 4 rotation? Yes, right now he is. I can't see Cam Kelly, Alumba, um, Mike White, maybe Mike White, or I couldn't see what's the other guy's name? Travaris Ward, Duke Thomas as well. I don't think those guys are playing well enough to beat him out. So yeah, Anthony Brown makes his team. I think that's like a little premature. No, we're not making a deal for Earl Thomas, and it doesn't make. I mean, I'm tired of the Earl Thomas convo. If he comes, great. I mean, I don't mind him if we can get him for a steal, but if we can't, leave him where he at. I'm not worried about Earl Thomas. Our team is going to play well because our front 4, like I said, they're ripping doors off and running back there. So we got guys that are wreaking havoc. Think about this: Randy Gregory did not play. Collins didn't play. Irving. We have 3 guys who have Pro Bowl potential who didn't touch the field. And I'm still excited about the front 4. That tells you everything you need to know about how we looked out there as far as that's concerned. Tavon is definitely on this team. Yeah, Zeke wanted to eat for sure. Let's see. Thoughts on the Beasley hype here? There are no thoughts on the Beasley hype. I think Dak Prescott was exposed last year because he throws to Beasley a lot. And I think teams realized that and they said, well, let's see what happens when he can't throw to Beasley. And now we saw what happens when you can't throw to Beasley. So I think, it's just like boxing. If I jab you in the mouth 2 or 3 times and you say, okay, well, he likes the jab and he works his combinations off the jab. Your job is to put your hand now in front of your mouth, catch that, and stop me from doing that. So now, once you take that away from me, I have to have a go-to move beyond that. So now that they've taken Beasley out of the equation, it's up to Dak and the coaching staff to do something else that allows a defense to focus on something else that allows Dak to go back to Beasley. See what I'm saying? So I think, year 1 was, Dak jabbing NFL in the mouth. Year 2 was them countering that. Year 3, this should be a year where we see what next step Dak takes in order to get above that barrier. Because, I think teams are always going to try to take Beasley out of the equation because Dak likes him so much. So that's what I think of Beasley. I know people are waiting on the boxing breakdowns. You know what happened with that? And this is just honest. I don't really get to talk to you guys live, so I can't. I usually talk a lot of shit to you guys in the comments because people talk shit to me. But boxing is my first love. Like I've been boxing since I was a kid, so and I probably know boxing a little bit better than football. I like them both, but when I started this channel, I have a studio space here in Philly that I rent out. It's an event space. I rent it out to people, to creatives and directors. I wanted to be into movies. I wasn't trying to do this at all. But I started this on a Des Bryant rant, as everybody knows, on a not guilty rant. Everybody thought I was a YouTuber, and I'm like, I'm not a YouTuber at all. I was just, I just had this YouTube account, and I just said I'm going to put a video up. Now, when I first started, I wanted to take this brand and just say, okay, I'm a Cowboys fan. I am, but I was going to talk about football in general, sports in general. But it was like, the amount of time that it takes to break down football film is crazy. I do need to transition out and start doing some boxing and throwing it in there. But the reason I hadn't is because right now you have so many things that are happening, and it takes so long for me to get through those breakdowns. I need a team that's like, able to, and they can't really do it because nobody really seeing what I'm saying. So I've tried it. I had other people try to compile video footage so I can just do the voiceover, and it doesn't work. So it's just me. So that's why boxing hasn't gotten started yet, but I will, because I just love it. So I will. What we got there? We win games when we control the clock. Yeah, that's Parcells left that formula for us, man. Go out to the website. I'm actually going to go to DallasCowboys.com as well and watch the Cowboys Parcells Last Ride documentary. I heard that was pretty good. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I will get into boxing though. I just wanted to let you guys know why I hadn't done it yet, because it's just a lot. And then you guys know I was having a baby too, so I was only releasing videos once a week because I didn't have much time to do much more than that. So now I will be on that. I appreciate your dedication and knowledge. Joe Gomez, I appreciate you too, man. And I know just as much as you guys know. Like, I'm not an former NFL player or anything like that. I learned from just literally. I love the game, and I'll sit, watch film, and then whatever comes out, comes out. So I say, okay, this is what I see, and so I tell you guys what I see. So it's not me being like some, genius. I'm no smarter than anybody on here. Anthony Brown after tonight. Anthony Brown after tonight is just Anthony Brown as before. Like, it's no different. I think Chris Richard is understanding now. Like, it's not the coaching staff when it comes to Anthony Brown. It's Anthony Brown. Like, he's in position, and I try to like him. That's all I can tell you. Like, I heard people say he ran a 4.29. Speed never meant shit to me when it came to your playing ability, unless you're just like abysmally slow. But if you run a 4.5, you run fast enough. If you run fast enough, you're good. And if you're a corner and you play press man, your job is not to be the fastest guy out there anyway. Usually press cover corners are not that, like Casey Hayward is not fast. He's not a fast guy. He's not fast when you look at him on film, and he's not fast on Madden. He's not fast in his combine. He's not fast anywhere. He's just not fast. But Casey Hayward is one of the best corners in the league because he turns himself into a wall. You got to go around him to get open, and then you got to get through him, and he's physical. So if I'm hitting you at the line of scrimmage, you can't run as fast as you can run. So your 4.2 doesn't mean shit if I'm strong and I'm using my hands right. So I don't care about your speed. I care about your technique. So if you have good technique, you can play cornerback in this league. And Anthony Brown has shoddy technique when it comes to the ball being in the air. Yeah, exactly. Eric Loftman, the issue is between his ears. It is. He hits the panic button whenever he thinks the ball is in the air because he's so afraid that the ball is going to be caught on him, and all that pressure is there. But I said that on another video. That's why I think that they were trying to kind of play head games with him to get him comfortable during camp by having him get that amount of reps. But the moment he played real competition, he showed right back up. And I think that's because this game meant a lot to him, because he's looking to solidify himself in that third position. But he's not. I don't think he's going to. Yeah, it is. It is unfortunate what happened to Law. Like we said before, I don't want to talk about it too much. As I said, because that's his business. I know he's going to deal with it though. But I'll call him or text him tomorrow while I'm traveling and see what we're going to do moving forward on Tuesdays, because I like breaking down film with him. I like being on the show with him, and a lot of the things that you guys see from me. And I didn't say this because I never really got a chance to say that either, and I'll say it now because people thought we were gang warring or we had beef, me and Law, because we have a different opinion on a lot. Me and Vaj do too. We argue, but that's just me. I'm not afraid to have my opinion. But when I first started this, man, I started doing this because I used to watch Law just like you guys watch Law. And when I was looking for a fair, not biased, but fair assessment of Dez online, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it on ESPN. So I would sit and listen to ESPN, not really caring about what was going on with Dez, honestly. But I would sit and listen to it, and I'd say, what the fuck are they talking about, man? Like, that's not what I see when I watch the game. So what are they talking about? Skip Bayless, I hate that dude. But, that's not what I see. So I was like, what are they talking about? So then I said, well, look, let me go online. And I went and found this guy, Sammy Gold or something like that. He did a pretty good breakdown of Death, but that was in the middle of the season. So I was like, this is it. I need more. So I went to Lost page, and his was more so Dez, was on the side of, he was over Dez. So I said, well, let me go watch the film myself. So I went out and bought Game Pass and just sat and watched the film. And when I watched it, I said, well, what position or what viewpoint can I watch from? I said I can watch and watch all of his receptions, but what would I learn? Nothing. I learned that he can catch the ball sometimes, and that we all know that already. So I said, let's look at the incomplete passes and count them. Because people say, like Shannon Sharp kept saying, he had 132 targets, he was 12th in targets, but he wasn't. He had 53 uncatchable balls out of that 132. So he caught 69 passes. And this isn't a Dez defense, but video. But he caught 69 passes out of like 85 to 90 catchable balls. That's not bad, not bad at all. It's only bad when you count to 132, and a lot of those weren't going to be caught. And then you have the other narrative that just said he had dropped 10 passes, which he didn't. But we can get off that. Dez is about to sign with the Browns. It looks like actually Dez is actually responding to Tyson West Coast Cowboys as well on Twitter right now. That's the reason all this Browns talk started today, because Tyson actually, shout out to Tyson West Coast. He just called me a second ago. He's at the game tonight. But he had tweeted after Dayton Jones tweeted back at me earlier today. We showed him some love. We was talking to him. So after he tweeted back at me, Tice went out and tweeted at Dez and said, something like, they don't understand bosses. Bosses don't move out of desperation or something like that to Dez. And Dez said, exactly. And then he started talking about how he wouldn't mind playing for the Browns. That was a response to Tyson West Coast Cowboy. And then from there, he got, I guess, cornered in them saying that they called him and he wouldn't answer. So now he's going out there next week. So Dez owes you some money, Tyson, if he get a contract out of it. Yeah, he definitely do. Yeah, he definitely do. But yeah, man, I'm about to cut this short in about 3 minutes, you guys. So before I jump off, man, I just want to say again, I appreciate this year. You guys will start seeing this whole studio unfold, because right now I just got booted from my room, and now I'm in the laundry room shooting. I just set up here because I don't want to wake my daughter up. So that's cool. But I have a huge garage. I just have to set up my router out there. But I have a huge garage, and I'm going to start using that as my studio. But I have it built out as a gym. It's like a boxing gym in there now. So I'll do some boxing tutorial videos out of there, and I'll start doing my film breakdowns out of there, and I'll definitely start going live out there. But I have to get Verizon to come out and run another router to the garage, because I can't get any internet out there right now. But I like I said, I appreciate the ride. And before I go, anything, somebody said Eagles all day. SSB, you be out here repping the Eagles hard, man. I'm in Philly too. I respect you only because I understand what you go through, and so we have that commonality. I'm in Philly, and we go at it with Eagles fans everywhere I go. If I walk outside with a Cowboys shirt on, you get a lot. It's like coming to America in the beginning. I'm like, fuck you, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you too, and we just going at it. But so I understand what it's like jumping on here talking some Eagle shit and having the whole nation, barrel down on you, man. But y'all won last year. Welcome to the ring club. We ain't mad at you. So hopefully, y'all stop being bitter now. But I don't really know. I don't really understand that. Like the Eagles fans are bitter winners. That's crazy. They still angry, and y'all won one. You know what I mean? There's something wrong there. Man, your favorite Cowboys YouTuber, Buttered Toast. Oh, I remember you, Buttered Toast. That's my man. Like you, my man. You a day one, man. I remember. I remember your avatar and your picture. You and Sushi and all y'all dudes, man. So I appreciate you watching, man. Antoine Myers. Shout out to April Stanton. I know y'all not on here right now. I don't see you anyway in the chats, but Game Changer. That's my man, CJ Freeman. If you guys like the intro music that comes on when my show come on, that's one of the viewers actually sent me that his name's CJ Freeman. So I appreciate everything, man. Everything. A lot of the things that you guys see is from people just jumping up and helping me get up to speed. Both Law, Vach, they both teach me a lot, because as I said, I wasn't planning on being a YouTuber. Still kind of not sold on it after what they did to Law tonight. And I'm like, you can't really speak freely. So it's like, when will my time come? Because eventually I'm probably going to say or do something that YouTube doesn't like, because, Law is like kind of straight and narrow, and I'm an asshole. So I don't know. But right now it is what it is. All right, it's 3:00, fellas. I'm about to sign out. I'll catch y'all Sunday. I'll probably do something live. Shoot me some comments if you guys want to send a message to me. Holla at me on Twitter, man. I'm at AKOYE Media on Twitter. Holla at me on Twitter. It's better than IG, because IG is really like, I just post pictures of things that I'm doing, and it's boring if you're really looking for football on Instagram with me. So I'd rather people, if you're interested in asking me a question, or you want to suggest videos, you can go out on Twitter. If you want to support the page, definitely go out to patreon.com/AKOYE or AKOYE, and just throw something up there. I will definitely take donations for video prompts or video ideas. If you guys want to be in the intros, that information's out there too. I'm not looking for wealth from you guys. Trust me on that. If you guys donate anything, it's really so I can understand really what you want me to do for you, what type of film you want me to break down. I make good money already, so I'm not looking to get rich off of YouTube. I'm serious when I say that. But I do understand that all this stuff costs me, like from the cameras to the Dre beats I got on cost $400 right there. So it's like, at the end of the day, a lot of the supplies that I want to get better, to have a setup like that is worthy of the type of content that I want to produce. Like, I have a whole studio down in Philadelphia that I want to start shooting out of, and I want to set it up like a like sort of like a news set or a show set, where we have tables, chairs, and everything. I want to have a whole production setup there, from lighting and so on. So that's the goal. That'll be within this year, within this season. I'm definitely doing it, whether you guys donate or not. Doesn't matter to me, because like I said, I'm here 3:00 in the morning on the East Coast doing this, because this is all I like to do. I like to talk. I like football, like sports, and I like talking shit and debating with people. So you guys kind of help me. It's a perfect storm to help me do what I like to do. So again, support the page, support the movement. Definitely support my folks. Like I said, the guys who support me. So you know who those YouTubers are: Vach, Law. And Facebook, it's Tyson, West Coast Cowboy. I'm sometimes on his show on Sundays, and he got a lot of he does a lot of in your face interviews. So you guys check those guys out, and make sure you support them. Go follow Law Nation 2.0, so he can he can go live on that as well. But yeah, one love all y'all, man. I'm Ghost. I'll catch y'all Sunday. Accumulated knowledge over years of experience. I'm out.